The stars were quiet that night. Commander Ethan Cole, a lone human explorer, floated through the black ocean of space inside his small ship Aurora 9. His mission was simple: find new habitable worlds for the dying Earth. But destiny had a different plan. A sudden explosion shook his ship. "Warning! Hull breach!" the AI screamed. Ethan tried to stabilize, but flames burst across the control panel. He slammed the emergency button and was thrown backward as the ship plunged toward an unknown planet covered in silver mist. The crash was violent. Metal screamed, trees burned, and silence followed. Ethan woke hours later. His helmet was cracked. His arm hurt. Around him stretched a forest unlike any he had seen. Trees glowing faint blue, flowers moving like they were breathing. His oxygen meter blinked red. "Great," he whispered. "Stranded again." He stumbled forward, searching for water or shelter. That's when he heard it, a soft cry. At first he thought it was the wind, but then came another sound, higher and trembling, like a child. Ethan followed the cries through thick mist until he reached a small clearing. There, under a broken metal dome, he saw 3 small alien children huddled together. Their skin shimmered silver. Their eyes were large, reflecting light like glass. They looked weak, cold, and terrified. One of them saw Ethan and gasped. The smallest tried to hide behind the others. Ethan raised his hand slowly. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." A soft growl came from behind him. He turned quickly and froze. Standing there was a tall alien woman. Her skin glowed faintly blue and her eyes burned bright like twin moons. She looked both beautiful and dangerous, holding a glowing spear made of energy. Her voice was firm, filled with pain. "Stay away from my children, human." Ethan didn't move. "I'm not your enemy. I just crashed here." The alien woman studied him, her breathing heavy. Her body shook slightly as if she was injured. The glow on her arm flickered. Ethan saw blood, dark and thick, dripping down. "You're hurt," he said softly. "Do not touch me," she warned. But her strength failed and she almost fell. Ethan quickly caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin was warm, too warm. She was burning with fever. "I don't know your world," Ethan said gently, "but I know how to help a wound." She stared at him, eyes wide. No human had ever touched her kind before. After a long moment, she let him lay her down near the children. Ethan tore a strip from his uniform and wrapped her arm carefully. She watched every move he made, suspicious but silent. The children moved closer. One whispered, "Mother, who is he?" The woman's voice softened. "A stranger, a human." Ethan smiled faintly. "You can call me Ethan." The alien woman blinked. "I am Lorana." Her voice trembled now, weaker. "My mate, he was killed. My children are starving. We have nothing left." For a moment, Ethan didn't know what to say. The pain in her eyes was raw, deep. She looked at him with desperation and hope mixed together. "Human," she whispered, her voice breaking. "If you are kind, adopt my hungry children. Be their protector. Be my mate and help me keep them alive." Ethan froze. The request hit him like thunder. "Mate, adopt?" He didn't even know where he was. But the children's eyes, so innocent, so scared, made his heart ache. He remembered Earth, the orphans left behind after the wars. He remembered his little sister who starved before rescue came. He looked back at Lorana. "I don't know your ways, but I can try to help." Lorana's eyes glistened. "Then the stars have sent you for a reason." As the night fell, Ethan lit a small fire near the wreckage. The children ate small portions of food from his emergency pack. Lorana rested nearby, her hand clutching the ground like she was afraid it would disappear. Ethan sat silently, watching the alien family. The firelight danced on their silver skin. The children whispered in a strange melodic language. For the first time since his crash, Ethan didn't feel alone. But above them, hidden in the mist, something moved. Red eyes blinked in the dark, watching. Ethan didn't see it yet. But the forest was alive and hungry. The night was cold. The fire near the wreckage burned low, its light trembling on the alien trees. Ethan sat awake, his eyes scanning the shadows. Every sound in that strange forest felt alive, like something was breathing just beyond sight. The alien woman, Lorana, slept weakly beside her children. Her face looked peaceful but pale. The bandage on her arm was dark with blood. The children huddled together, whispering softly in their glowing tongue. Ethan checked his pulse monitor. "Oxygen low. Energy cells dying. No signal from the ship, he sighed. Great, I'm babysitting aliens on a death planet. But when he looked at the children, his heart softened. The smallest one, a girl with silver eyes, reached toward him shyly. Thank you, Ethan, she said in broken words. He smiled. You're welcome, kiddo. Then suddenly at a sound. A low growl. Ethan turned fast, holding a metal rod he had taken from the shipwreck. Two red eyes glowed between the trees. Something big was moving in the fog. He whispered, Stay behind me. The creature stepped into the light. It was tall, with a body made of bone and shadow, its mouth opening sideways like a blade. It hissed, angry and hungry. Ethan's heart pounded. Not friendly, I guess. He swung the metal rod as the creature leapt. Sparks flew as its claws hit the wreckage. The children screamed. Lorana woke with a gasp. Ethan! The Morvek, run! She cried, but Ethan didn't run. He stood firm between the monster and the family. The Morvek lunged again and Ethan hit it hard on the neck. The rod bent, but the creature shrieked and pulled back. Lorana raised her shaking hand. Blue light burst from her palm, forming a small shield. The energy flashed like lightning, throwing the Morvek back for a second. Her strength broke after that. She collapsed. Ethan saw his chance. He grabbed a glowing fuel cell from the wreck and threw it into the fire. The explosion was bright and deafening. The Morvek screamed and vanished into the dark trees. Silence returned. Only the children's sobs and Lorana's weak breathing remained. Ethan dropped to his knees, gasping. Lorana looked at him through half-closed eyes. You fight like a protector. Ethan wiped the dirt from his face. Yeah, well, your monster doesn't like fire. The smallest child ran to him and hugged his arm. You saved us. He looked down at her silver skin, glowing softly under the dying firelight. Guess I did. Lorana struggled to sit up. You should have run. You risked your life for us. Why? Ethan stared into the mist. Because no one saved my people when we needed help. I won't repeat that. Her gaze softened. The hardness in her eyes melted into something gentle. Humans are strange. Ethan smiled faintly. You have no idea. He turned to the trees again, scanning the shadows. Are there more of those things? Lorana nodded weakly. Yes, the Morvek hunt in packs. They smell blood. They will come again. Ethan took a deep breath. Then we moved before sunrise. He helped her stand. Her legs trembled and he held her steady. For a moment their eyes met, in his brown, her blue silver. Something unspoken passed between them. Trust. Maybe even the start of something deeper. The children packed what little food was left. Ethan salvaged parts of the ship. A small plasma cutter, 2 emergency lamps, and a broken comm unit. He hoped to fix it later. As dawn touched the alien sky, they began to walk. The forest opened into wide plains glowing under twin suns. Strange birds circled high, singing in metallic tones. In the distance, a dark mountain rose like a spear piercing the clouds. Ethan shaded his eyes. We'll head there. Maybe higher ground will help me send a signal. Lorana nodded. The mountain is sacred. My mate died near it, but it is dangerous. Ethan looked at her. So is staying here. They walked for hours. The children grew tired, and Lorana carried the youngest on her back. Ethan found glowing fruits hanging from vines. He tested one carefully, then smiled. Edible. Sweet. Guess breakfast is served. The children laughed softly for the first time since he arrived. For a short moment, they felt like a strange, fragile family. But as they reached the edge of the plains, Ethan stopped. His communicator beeped faintly. He froze. Signal? That's impossible! The sound came again, weak, broken static. Lorana looked alarmed. What is it? Ethan frowned. A human distress beacon. But now it's old, very old. He turned toward the sound, and deep in the mountain's shadow, Lorana whispered, That place is cursed. The Morvek nest there. Ethan smiled, tired but determined. Then I guess that's where we're going. The wind blew through the silver grass. The alien children watched him, half scared, half trusting. Lorana's eyes lingered on him longer this time. For the first time since her mate's death, she felt a spark of something she thought was lost, hope. But far above, inside the mist around the mountain, another pair of eyes watched them. Mechanical, human. Someone, or something, was already waiting for them. The wind howled across the silver plains as Ethan, Lorana, and her 3 children walked toward the dark mountain. The twin suns burned behind them, turning the alien sky red and gold. The journey was quiet, too quiet. Even the birds that sang earlier had vanished. Ethan carried the broken communicator, holding it high. The small screen blinked with a faint human distress signal. He couldn't believe it. Another human here? He looked at Lorana. That signal means someone from Earth was here before me. Lorana's face darkened. No one comes here and lives, Ethan. The mountain eats the lost. He gave a small grin. Then let's make sure we don't become lunch. The children giggled softly at his words, but their laughter faded when they saw the mountain up close. The ground was covered in black glass, smooth and sharp. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the rocks, as if the mountain itself was alive. When they reached a large cave at the base, the signal grew stronger. Ethan stopped. It's coming from inside. Lorana frowned. That is where my people never go. That place is called the Silent Heart. Ethan switched on his emergency lamp. Then it's time to wake the silence. Inside the cave, the air was cold and heavy. Every sound echoed like whispers. The walls were covered in ancient carvings, scenes of stars, ships, and two races standing together. Humans and Lorana's kind. Ethan touched the wall. This looks like us. Lorana's eyes widened. Impossible. My ancestors spoke of star visitors who came long ago before the Great Fire. They said those visitors vanished. He looked at her. Maybe they didn't vanish. Maybe they built something here. They moved deeper into the mountain. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber glowing with blue light. Machines lay half buried in stone, human design but old, rusted, forgotten. In the center stood a tall metal tower with a blinking red light, the source of the signal. Ethan ran to it and brushed off the dust. It's a human beacon. From Earth's early colonies. 200 years old, Lorana watched him silently. What does it mean? Ethan checked the cracked panel. It means, we've been here before. Maybe your people and mine once lived together. Before she could answer, the ground trembled. A deep growl echoed through the cave. The children screamed. The Morvek were back. Get behind me, Ethan shouted. He drew his plasma cutter and pointed it at the dark tunnels. Red eyes appeared in the shadows. Dozens of them. Lorana stood beside him, her palm glowing again. We cannot fight them all. Ethan gritted his teeth. Then we make them afraid. He slammed the plasma cutter into the beacon, overloading it. Sparks exploded and the whole chamber filled with light and heat. The creatures screamed, retreating from the brightness. Lorana grabbed his arm. The beacon, it's waking something. The metal floor vibrated. Ancient machines around them started to hum. A deep voice echoed from everywhere. Human DNA detected. Activating legacy system. Ethan froze. What the hell? A beam of blue light scanned him from head to toe. Holograms filled the air. Humans working beside aliens, building the mountain's core. Lorana stared in awe. So it was true. Our worlds were one. Then a holographic figure appeared. An old human in a white uniform. His voice was calm but distant. If you are seeing this, then Earth has fallen silent. This outpost was built for peace between species. But something went wrong. The Morvek escaped containment. Ethan's stomach dropped. They were made by us? The hologram continued. The Morvek were our failed experiment, soldiers created for war. They destroyed everything. If any human or ally finds this, seal the mountain. Do not let the Morvek spread. The image vanished. The room went dark again. Lorana whispered, Your kind made the monsters that killed my mate. Ethan's throat tightened. I didn't know. That was centuries ago. We were different then. But she looked away, pain and anger in her eyes. Pain never dies, Ethan, it only changes face. He stepped closer. Then let me change it this time. Let me make it right. She didn't answer. The children clung to her, scared. The beacon behind them flickered, showing a countdown in red digits. Ethan's heart sank, and it was about to self-destruct. Move, he shouted. It's going to blow. He grabbed Lorana's hand and ran toward the tunnel. The cave roared as fire and light filled the chamber behind them. Stones fell. The ground split. They stumbled out of the cave just as the mountain's side exploded, throwing smoke into the sky. Ethan and Lorana rolled on the ground, gasping. The children cried, but they were safe. Ethan looked back. The beacon was gone, buried forever. Lorana turned to him, tears glowing on her skin. You destroyed the last memory of our shared past. Ethan shook his head. No, we still remember, and we can build something new. She stared at him for a long moment. The anger in her eyes slowly faded. You speak with heart, human. Maybe Maybe you are different, he smiled softly. Guess you'll have to stick around to find out. As the twin suns set, painting the world in orange light, Ethan and Lyrana stood together, watching the smoke rise from the mountain. Behind them, the children laughed, chasing glowing insects. But high above, in the orbit of the planet, a silent human ship turned its sensors toward them. Its computer spoke. Survivor detected. Unknown life forms with human signature. Mission retrieval. The ship began to descend, and the story of Ethan and Lyrana was far from over. The next morning, the alien world was quiet again. The sky burned gold as the twin suns rose above the smoking mountain. Ethan stood on a ridge watching the horizon. He had barely slept. His thoughts were spinning. Someone, or something, and was coming from orbit. He turned to Lyrana and her children. They were gathering fruit from the silver trees. The youngest, Mira, waved at him with a bright smile. For the first time, the children were laughing again. Lyrana looked up at him. You keep watching the sky, Ethan. What do you see? He hesitated. A signal, a ship. Human design. I think they found me, Lyrana froze. More humans? Maybe, he said quietly. But I don't know if they're the kind you should meet. She looked away. Your kind made the Morvek. Why should I trust the ones who come from above? Ethan didn't answer. He didn't trust them either. He had seen too many missions end in lies. By midday, they reached a wide valley filled with glowing grass. The air shimmered like glass. The signal from the communicator grew stronger, then a loud roar echoed across the sky. A massive ship pierced through the clouds, dark and sharp like a blade. Its engines burned red and the ground trembled as it landed nearby. Ethan's heart pounded. That's not an exploration ship. It's a reclaimer. Lyrana stepped back, holding her children close. What is a reclaimer? Ethan swallowed hard. It's a ship sent to collect lost technology and silence witnesses. The ship's ramp opened with a hiss. 3 armored humans stepped out, their suits black, marked with the symbol of Earth Dominion forces. Ethan recognized it instantly. These weren't rescuers. They were hunters. The leader removed his helmet. His face was hard and pale, with cold gray eyes. Commander Ethan Cole, he said calmly. You are alive, unexpected. Ethan frowned. Captain Voss, didn't expect you to come looking for me. Voss smirked. We detected your emergency signal. And something else, non-human biosignatures. His eyes shifted toward Lyrana and the children. So this is what you found? Contaminants? Ethan stepped forward. They're not contaminants. They're survivors. They helped me. Voss's smile faded. You know the rule, Cole. No alien contact. No cross-species interaction. You broke command code. Lyrana's eyes narrowed. He saved my children. If your code means death for kindness, then your kind is broken. Voss raised his weapon. Enough. We're taking the human. The rest stay here. The children screamed as soldiers aimed their guns. Ethan moved fast, grabbing one soldier's arm and knocking him down. Run! He shouted to Lyrana. Blasts of plasma fire lit the air. Trees burned. Lyrana grabbed her children and ran toward the cliffs. Ethan covered them, returning fire with a plasma pistol he had stolen. Voss's voice echoed. You're making a mistake, Cole. They're not worth saving, Ethan yelled back. Neither were we once, but someone still tried. A shot grazed his shoulder. He fell, clutching the wound. The soldiers closed in, but then the ground shook violently. The mountain roared again. From the burning valley came a familiar, horrifying sound. The Morvek. Dozens of them burst from the cracked ground, drawn by the noise and the heat. They leapt onto the soldiers, tearing through armor and metal. Voss screamed as one dragged him down. Plasma fire lit the sky. Ethan struggled to his feet, pain shooting through his arm. He looked up and saw Lyrana standing on the cliff, her children behind her calling his name. He ran toward her, every muscle burning. The Morvek howled behind him, faster than shadows. He reached the cliff and grabbed Lyrana's hand. She pulled him up just as the creatures reached the base. They fell into a hidden cave at the side of the cliff. Darkness swallowed them. Only their ragged breathing filled the space. Ethan gasped. We can't stay here long. They'll find a way in. Lyrana nodded, touching his wounded arm. Her fingers glowed softly, the blue light healing his skin. Ethan stared in awe. You can heal? She smiled faintly. A gift of my kind. But it takes strength. And I have little left. He looked into her eyes and tired but full of fire. You've done enough, Lorana. You saved us again. She shook her head. No, Ethan, you saved us and we breathed from your own kind. Silence fell between them. The only sound was the soft breathing of the children. Finally, Ethan whispered, We can't go back. That ship will call more soldiers. We'll have to hide. Maybe find the ocean I saw on the scans. Lorana looked at him with quiet resolve. Then we hide together. Until your people stop seeing monsters and start seeing hearts. Ethan smiled weakly. That might take a while. She touched his cheek gently. Then we will wait. Together. Outside, the mountain continued to smoke and the ruined ship burned under the red sky. Far above, in Earth's network satellites, new data began to spread. Images of Ethan, standing beside an alien woman and her children. The message sent shockwaves through command channels. A voice spoke from the dark of space. Project Genesis confirmed. Human-alien hybrid contact successful. Activate containment protocol. Back in the cave, Ethan looked at the faint blue horizon. He didn't know it yet, but he had just changed the future of two worlds. The cave was cold and silent. Only the faint blue glow from Lorana's healing light danced on the rocky walls. Ethan sat beside the fire he'd built from ship fragments, his shoulder now wrapped neatly. Outside, the alien world slept under twin moons. Somewhere in the distance, the Earth Dominion ship still burned, but Ethan knew more would come. The Dominion never left witnesses alive. Lorana sat across from him, her silver eyes reflecting the flames. Her children were asleep beside her, small bodies curled together like glowing stars. Ethan finally broke the silence. They called it Project Genesis. Did you hear that? She nodded slowly. What is it? He sighed. Something terrible. And something powerful. It means creation. Long ago, before the wars, humans tried to create perfect soldiers, blending alien DNA with human minds. They called those experiments Genesis. Lorana's face hardened. The Morvek? Yes, Ethan said quietly. They were born from that project. We made them, and lost control. The words hung in the cold air like poison. Lorana stared into the fire, her jaw tight. Your kind played with life, and my people paid the price. Ethan didn't defend himself. I know, that's why I have to make it right. She looked at him for a long time. Why do you care, Ethan? You could have left us. You could have gone with your soldiers. He met her eyes. Because when I look at your children, I see what we destroyed. And when I look at you, I see what we could still save. Her gaze softened. A silence of understanding filled the space between them. The next morning, they began their journey toward the ocean Ethan had mentioned. The land turned rocky and dry, with winds that sang through the stones like ghosts. The children were tired, but Lorana's strength surprised him. Even wounded, she carried the smallest child and never complained. At midday, they found an ancient structure half buried in sand, metallic and shining. Ethan brushed off the dust and saw the faded emblem of the Earth Dominion. This place is human, he said. Old maybe before the Morvek War. The door hissed open at his touch and they stepped inside. It wasn't a ruin. It was a lab. Rows of glass pods lined the walls filled with glowing blue liquid. Inside each pod floated strange shapes, not fully human, not fully alien. Some looked peaceful, others monstrous. Lorana covered her mouth. What is this horror? Ethan's stomach turned. They continued Genesis here. They used your people's DNA. He walked to a control panel, its screen cracked but still glowing. When he pressed a button, a recording began to play. Log 412, Project Genesis Phase 2. Successful fusion between human host and Lyran species. Results show emotional stability, but unpredictable empathy response. Terminate batch. Ethan felt sick. They killed them all. Lorana's eyes filled with tears that shimmered like glass. My ancestors warned us about the stars. They said humans came not to live beside us, but to use us. He took a deep breath. Not all of us. Some of us wanted peace. She turned away. Peace built on bones is no peace, Ethan. He couldn't argue. But then a faint sound broke the silence and the hum of machines waking after centuries. The pods flickered. One of them cracked open with a hiss and blue mist poured out. A small figure stepped forward. A young woman, pale blue skin, human-like eyes. She looked confused, afraid. Lorana gasped. She's like me. The girl stared at Ethan. Who are you? Why did you wake me? He raised his hands calmly. I'm Ethan. I found this place by accident. What's your name? The girl blinked. Name? I was called Unit 9. Lorana stepped closer. You are not a unit. You are alive, the girl smiled faintly. Alive, that word feels strange. Before Ethan could say more, alarms blared. The base lights turned red. A robotic voice echoed. Unauthorized activation. Containment breach. Reclaimer forces inbound. Ethan's face went pale. They tracked the signal again. Lorana grabbed the girl's hand. We must leave, Ethan nodded. He smashed the control panel, disabling the alarm, then led them through a maintenance tunnel that opened near the shore. The ocean stretched ahead, the glowing blue waves under the twin suns. They ran until they reached the water's edge. The breeze smelled of salt and metal. Behind them, smoke rose from the lab. Ethan turned to Lorana. That girl, Unit 9. She's proof humans and your kind can live as one. Project Genesis failed because of fear, not science. Lorana looked at the girl, who watched the sea in wonder. She is both of us. Human and Lyran, maybe she is the key. Ethan nodded. Then we protect her. Whatever it takes, Lorana touched his arm. You speak like a leader, Ethan, not a soldier. He smiled faintly. Maybe I stopped being a soldier when I met you. The waves crashed softly at their feet. The children laughed as they touched the glowing water. For the first time in days, peace felt real. But above them, a shadow passed. A black drone circling high in the sky. Red eyes blinking. It scanned the beach silently before vanishing into the clouds. Ethan stared upward. They found us again, Lorana whispered. Then our fight is not over. He nodded, determination burning in his eyes. No, it's just beginning. The blue ocean stretched endlessly under the twin suns. Its waves glowed faintly like liquid light. Ethan stood at the shore, his boots sinking into the silver sand. Behind him, Lorana gathered food for the children while Unit 9 watched the horizon quietly. Her strange, pale eyes filled with wonder. They had traveled far from the burning mountain and the destroyed lab. The Dominion drones had stopped chasing them for now, but Ethan knew it wouldn't last. The Earth Dominion always finished what it started. Do your people ever stop hunting? Lorana asked as she joined him, her voice soft but tired. Ethan shook his head. No, to them silence is control. They fear anything that doesn't fit their order. She looked at the endless water. Then we must stay hidden. Ethan nodded. I've been scanning this area. There's a signal coming from under the ocean. Weak, but human. Maybe an old base, Lorana frowned. You want to go down there? I don't want to, he said, glancing toward the children. But if there's shelter, maybe supplies, we need it. That night, they built a small raft using broken lab panels and vine ropes. The ocean was calm, glowing softly beneath the moons. The children sat close together, whispering. Unit 9 sat at the edge, her fingers touching the glowing water. This sea remembers, she said quietly. Ethan looked at her. What do you mean? She turned toward him slowly. I hear voices, like echoes inside me. They speak from deep below. They say, come home. Lorana exchanged a worried glance with Ethan. She is hearing the past, she whispered. The memories in her blood, Ethan frowned. Or the base beneath us is still alive. The raft drifted quietly over the glowing waves. For a brief moment, the world felt peaceful. The stars shimmered like a million tiny hearts. Lorana sat beside Ethan, her shoulder brushing his. You still dream of Earth? She asked. He smiled faintly. Sometimes. But when I wake up, I'm glad I'm here. Her silver eyes glowed softly. You say kind things, human. He turned to her. No, I say true things. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The ocean's hum surrounded them, gentle and endless. Then the raft shook. A deep rumble came from below. The water glowed brighter, blue turning into white. The children screamed as waves rose high. Hold on, Ethan shouted. The raft spun violently, sucked toward a whirlpool opening in the ocean. Lorana held her children tight. Unit 9 stood in the center, her eyes glowing like stars. The voices call, she cried. They want us to see. Before Ethan could stop her, the raft was swallowed by light. When he opened his eyes, everything was quiet again. They were floating inside a vast bubble of air, under the ocean. Towers of glass and metal surrounded them, glowing with soft blue light. Strange shapes moved outside, like holograms of humans and aliens working together. Lorana gasped. This place, it's beautiful. Ethan stared in disbelief. It's a city, a hidden colony. They stepped onto a transparent bridge that led into one of the towers. Inside, the air was warm, filled with faint hums of old machines still running. Unit 9 touched a wall and the lights came alive. They built this as refuge, she said softly. Humans and Lyrans together. This was the last Genesis colony. Ethan walked to a console, brushing away dust. These systems are still connected to orbit. Maybe we can send a message, but the screen lit up by itself. A face appeared, not human, not alien. Something in between. Its voice echoed in the chamber. Welcome, hybrid bloodline. You have returned to the source. Lyrana stepped closer. Who are you? I am Memory Core Theta, guardian of Project Genesis. You were never enemies. You were designed to become one race, the children of the Union. But fear destroyed the dream. Ethan's eyes widened. They didn't want soldiers. They wanted a future. The voice continued. You, Ethan Cole and Lyrana of the Silver Star, have done what our creators failed to do, to live as one without hate. The child called Unit 9 is proof. Protect her, for she carries the code to restart Genesis. The image faded, leaving silence. Lyrana turned to Ethan. Restart Genesis? They want her to rebuild everything? Ethan nodded slowly. Or to fix what we broke. Before they could speak more, alarms flared again. Red lights filled the chamber. The voice of the memory core changed, distorted, frightened. Warning. Dominion fleet entering atmosphere. Target genetic source. Ethan's stomach dropped. They found us. Lyrana grabbed the children. We cannot fight ships. Ethan's mind raced. No, but maybe we can hide the girl. If they want Unit 9, we can't let them take her. Unit 9 stepped forward, calm despite the panic. If I stay, I can shut the link to the surface. They won't find this city again. Ethan shook his head. No, that's suicide. She smiled faintly. You saved me from a cage. Let me save you from the hunters. Before anyone could stop her, she placed her hand on the central crystal. Light burst across the city. Waves of energy rippled through the water. Ethan shouted, Unit 9! Her voice echoed, soft but brave. Tell the new world. We were one. Then she vanished into light. The city trembled. The walls sealed. The ocean roared. Ethan grabbed Lyrana and her children as a new tunnel opened above them, carrying them toward the surface. When they emerged, the ocean was calm again. No lights. No towers, only silence. Lyrana looked at him, tears shining in her eyes. She is gone. Ethan placed his hand over his heart. No, she became the ocean. Above them, streaks of fire cut the sky, Dominion ships falling from orbit. Disabled by Unit 9's final act, Lyrana whispered. She saved us all. Ethan nodded, eyes on the horizon. And now, we finish what she started. The morning after the storm was quiet. Ethan stood on the shore, staring at the endless blue ocean. The waves were calm now, glowing faintly under the soft light of twin suns. Somewhere beneath those peaceful waters slept the hidden city, and Unit 9, the brave hybrid girl who gave her life for them all. The children played nearby, their laughter mixing with the wind. Lyrana watched them, her silver hair shimmering like morning frost. She had not spoken much since the night of the ocean's awakening. Ethan walked to her slowly. You haven't slept, he said. She smiled faintly. Your machines saved us, but they also took her. Ethan nodded. She made her choice. She wanted peace to mean something. Lyrana looked up at the sky. Her soul is part of the sea now. The ocean will protect her memory. He followed her gaze. The sky was clear, but he knew it wouldn't stay that way. The Dominion would come again. They had lost one fleet, but Earth's control reached far and deep. Ethan turned toward her. We can't stay here. If the Dominion returns, this place won't survive. Lyrana tilted her head. Then where do we go? He smiled slightly. North, toward the Icelands. My ship's escape beacon still works. I can reprogram it. Not to call soldiers, but to send a message. She frowned. A message? Yes, he said. To any human who still believes in peace. To anyone willing to listen. They began the journey 2 days later. The land grew colder and whiter. Snow fell in slow spirals, covering the alien ground like a new beginning. The children laughed, chasing the flakes. For a moment, it almost felt like home. At night, they found shelter in an ancient cave of crystal. Inside, Ethan worked on the small beacon with trembling hands. Lyrana sat beside him, watching the soft red light blink. What will you tell them? she asked. He smiled faintly. The truth that we're not enemies, that humans and Lyrans once shared the same dream, and that one day we can again. She studied him for a long moment. You are strange, Ethan Cole. You bring hope to a world that forgot the word. He chuckled softly. Guess someone has to remind them. Then his tone softened. And when they come, when they find this message, I want them to see you, not as an alien, as family. Her eyes glistened like molten silver. Family, she whispered. I never thought I'd hear that word again. She touched his hand gently. If this world survives, it will be because of hearts like yours. He smiled, feeling warmth spread through the cold. And yours. For a while, silence filled the cave, peaceful, gentle, alive. The next morning, the beacon began to hum. Ethan stood, heart pounding. The signal reached the sky, carrying their message far beyond the clouds. This is Commander Ethan Cole of the Aurora 9 expedition. I have made contact with survivors, with Lyrans. They are not our enemies. They are people. We must stop the war before we lose everything that makes us human. Lyrana watched him as his voice echoed into the sky. For the first time, she saw what humans once could be. Brave, kind, and full of heart. When the message ended, Ethan looked at her. Now we wait, she nodded. And hope the stars are listening. Days passed. The snow grew deeper. The beacon blinked softly beside them. The children built small snow towers outside, laughing in the pale light. Then one night the beacon flared bright blue. Ethan rushed to it, eyes wide. Someone heard us. A voice came through, not mechanical, but warm and human. Commander Cole, this is Captain Isha Reyes, independent explorer of the Free Earth Alliance. We received your signal. Your message has started something big. Ethan's breath caught. Free Earth? Yes, the voice continued. Not all humans follow the Dominion anymore. Some of us believe what you believe. We're coming for you, not to capture, but to help. Lyrana's eyes filled with tears. They answered. Ethan smiled, unable to speak for a moment. They answered, he whispered. By sunrise, a silver ship appeared on the horizon, breaking through the clouds. It wasn't a Dominion warship. It was smaller, peaceful, marked with a blue symbol of unity, a human hand holding a star. The children pointed and cheered. Lyrana took Ethan's hand tightly. Do you trust them? She asked softly. He looked at the ship, then at her. I trust hope. The ship landed gently on the snow. Figures stepped out, humans but not in black armor. They wore simple suits carrying food, warmth, and smiles. Captain Reyes stepped forward and saluted Ethan. You did it, Commander. You made them listen. Ethan looked back at Lyrana and her children. We did it. Reyes nodded, eyes soft. Then let's build something better together. Lyrana smiled, tears falling silently down her silver cheeks. Then maybe this world will finally heal. As the suns rose higher, painting the snow in gold and blue, Ethan looked out across the horizon. The war was not over, but something far greater had begun. A bridge between hearts, built not from fear, but from love. He turned to Lyrana and whispered, We were never enemies. We were always missing pieces of the same soul. She smiled. Then let's make it whole. They stood together as the new dawn spread across the alien world, the dawn of peace, born from loss, courage, and one impossible wish. The wish of an alien widow. And a human who chose to care,